Hey guys, West Cross Armory, a couple quick tips for you. So we're out here shooting, we're in a great safe space, we're aware of our surroundings, and we're gonna be pulling from a holster and then shooting ahead of us. A lot of the key things when it comes to pulling from a holster is being aware of where the barrel of the gun is pointed. So if you're a Navy SEAL or Special Ops and you do this all day, every day, and you're training and drilling, you can pull from a holster without even looking at it, and then you can put it back without even looking at it. But for us normal people that maybe like to go shooting, do some competitions, the only time when we need to blind return is almost never. So when you pull from a holster, you don't necessarily need to look at it. You be focused on your target. You pull out, you get your hands together. As they're coming together, you're coming up and you're focusing on your target. Now, when you're going to holster, what you want to do is you pull back, make sure the area is clear, and then make visual contact with your holster. This is where a lot of mistakes happen. It's where misfires happen. It's where accidental discharge happens. So if you're keeping your eye on your holster, making sure maybe your shirt's clear, and you're slowly bringing it in, and you're putting it in safely. The reason you do that really slowly is because there's just no reason to rush it. So you don't want to go too fast when it comes to putting it back in. Now, if you're doing a competition or shooting in a speed scenario, pulling it out, you want to pull it out fast, practice bringing it up, putting the hands together, and then punching out. But when you put it back, remember, take your time, make visual contact, and make sure you're putting it back in a safe way. The next thing we're talking about is stance, right? So there have been a lot of evolutions of stance over the years. So they used to stand at the line, you know, you'd have a line in the sand, they stand at the line, dead straight, bend your knees, you go like this, arms locked, and just lean into it, right? These days, not so much. That's not really the style. You kind of get slightly staggered stance, not locked knees, but you don't have to bend too deep. And so when you go to pull, you pull up, and your stance is solid. As you're coming up, you're punching out. Now you don't need to lock these arms. You can keep half bent, slightly bent, right? To absorb some of that. And you can lock if you want, if that's your preferred method, but for the most part, this is a little easier, keeps a little closer, and then you can bring it in, eyes on the holster, slowly put that back in a safe spot. That's just a couple quick tips on how to get it going, how to stay safe and generally work with the holster while you're on the range with other people around. One last thing is we can go over hand grip. So there are a few different shooting styles when it comes to pistols. There's been evolution over the years of how you grip the pistol when you're shooting. So to give you an example, currently the very popular is to have your thumbs forward, hand over hand here, and some guys go thumbs down to stay below the slide. Some guys kind of go thumbs up. I prefer my thumbs up, but previously the old school method was either like this, and even older was like this, where they would kind of hold the bottom, and then at one point back in the day they used to do this kind of deal. Currently the most popular method is to go ahead and go fingers over fingers and thumb forward. This gives you a lot of forward control and a lot more hand on the frame, which is what you want to do. You want to really have as much hand on the gun so you can be pointing it in the right direction. And once you get used to that, maybe practice getting your hand shape. And one of the biggest things is kind of practicing that motion coming together and coming out, which is really key to getting good accuracy. When you do it, come up and then go slower. Slow it down a little bit, make sure your hand's in a good spot, and then bring it down, and then just kind of practice that a few times. A couple quick tips on gun handling there.